Hi, my name is Hamish and I'll be presenting Eyecademy's tutorial on the basics of Tableau. Today, I will show you how to make your first graph using Tableau. But before we start creating, let's take a look at the data we will use. This dataset contains information about 3 supermarkets over a period of 3 months. We should be able to make an interesting graph with the data here, so let's get started. When you open Tableau, this is the screen you will see. Down the left side, we have options for importing data. Here, you can connect to data locally or stored on a server. Our dataset is a CSV, so under the To a File section, we click on More and then select our data. Once our data is imported, our screen now looks like this. Here we can see all our data. This view of our data isn't any more informative than when we saw it in Excel. Before we visualize it, I want to mention that if you have multiple datasets, you can union them here on this page. To start creating visualizations from your data, click on Sheet 1 at the bottom of the screen. Let's walk through Tableau's layout. On the left, we have columns from our table. By selecting a field and clicking the drop-down arrow, we have many options, such as hiding the column, renaming it, or even creating a new calculated field based on the data here. Next to this, we have a few options for graph building. We'll come back to them in a minute. Taking center screen will be our graph. There are 2 boxes above the graph which are labeled as columns and rows. And that's where we will start to construct our visualization. Let's drag product line from the left to the column section above the graphing area. Notice how now we have the beginnings of a table with column headers. The categories within product line are now shown horizontally. This may be a weird thing to bring up, but it will make sense in a minute. So we have product line horizontally as our columns, or, if you will, our x-axis. Let's put something on the y-axis. One column that makes sense here is gross income. This way we can track which products are doing well. Drag gross income up to the Rows tab. Tableau has automatically set us up with a bar chart. And from this we can see that food and beverages is actually creating the most gross income. In the top right here, there is a Show Me button. In the top right, there is a Show Me button. By clicking this, we can see graphs that would be appropriate to represent this data. For example, let's try a tree map. This tree map doesn't look very great, as we don't have that many categories within the product line section. Let's try a different one. We could try the horizontal bar, for example. This is obviously very similar to our first graph, except horizontally. You'll notice that some of the graphs are grayed out, and these are graphs that might not be as appropriate for the data that we've got. As you can see, I can't click on any of them. However, if we wanted to force this into a line chart, we can go to this Mark section and select Line from the drop-down. Behind the Show Me panel, you can see our line charts there. It doesn't look very good, possibly because our axes are the wrong way around, so we could swap them and bring product line up to columns and sum of gross income down to rows. Okay, so we got a line chart there, but it's still not the most appropriate, so let's go back to our bar chart. We can filter our data too. For example, say we only want to see the data for one store. We can drag branch from the column section and put it in the filters section. Here in the pop-up, we can select exactly which store we want to see. So let's see store B. When I click apply, you'll notice the graph in the background changes. Click OK. For branch B, we can see that food and beverages isn't the highest gross income, but instead it would be the health and beauty and the sports and travel. We can also edit the appearance of our graph. If we click color, we can change the color of these bars. Let's go with an orange. We can also add detail to our graph. For example, we could drag gender down to the detail section. Now we've got lines across the graph showing the different split. This isn't very clear though. So to get a more clear view, we could also drag gender up to the color section. And now you can see at the side, we've got this little filter here. It says female and male. And if we click these, we can choose to keep only this or exclude, allowing you to quickly filter your graphs. Let's remove this for now. Say we want more detail though. So, for example, let's drag branch down to color. So now each branch is represented with a different color in the graph. Say we also want to view another category here. So let's take payment, for example. We can drag that into size, and our graph now updates with the different types of payment methods. So the thin ones are cash, the slightly thicker ones are credit card, and the big ones are e-wallet. Again, these can be filtered at the side by simply clicking on them. We can also have regular filters at the side as well. If we take gender and drag it up to the filters, we could then select both of these and click apply, and then OK. So our filter's in place here. If we click the drop down, we can then click show filter. Now this filter pops up at the side, so we can easily filter our graph. And that's the basics for building your first graph in Tableau. Thanks for watching.